Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for tuning in. So I just want to point out right from the get-go that tomorrow is 3-3, and in tarot and in numerology, 3 can stand for harmony, creativity, and like the third card in the deck, the Empress, first of all, it can stand for motherhood, but certainly prosperity, abundance, and fertility. So as you go about your day tomorrow, maybe you're doing your meditations or your journaling work, set the intentions for what you want to manifest. You see all this wheat down here? Well, she planted that. And so it's the idea of you reap what you sow. So start planting those ideas, those thoughts, set your intentions for what it is you wish to manifest in the future. I'm also really pleased to say that the interview that I did with Kevin Moore is on his channel now. He has released it. So it's on the We Are Channelers series. So I know a lot of you know me as a channeler from membership. And so please check that out. It was an amazing interview and I look forward to collaborating with him again in the future. I have a lot of new members and I have a lot of people that just signed up for readings. So let me say 2 things. New members, always check the community tab because that's where I put the links for the lives. That's where I put the schedules. And I just want to say that I'm doing, because we just wrapped up the Discover Your Soul's Design course, that I am starting next week some new angel classes. So for all members, you will receive classes and they get uploaded on the weekends. And this is going to be about angel healing, how to use the angels, how to ask the angels to help heal you and to help heal others. And I know a lot of you already have practices, and so this is something that you can add to your practice. And then for those of you who are in the angel level of membership, I'm going to be teaching you how to give angel readings. Okay, so that's really exciting, but that starts next week. So I'm giving everybody a week to catch up on everything. And for everyone that signed up for a reading, I just want to point out, because I am booked solid and I only do readings on Wednesdays. And like it says on my website, the chances of you being able to reschedule is slim to none, because at this point I'm getting so many emails, I would probably never see it anyways. So what you need to do is, if you can't make that date, follow the instructions. You send the 6 questions, a little information about yourself so I can connect to your energy, and then you get a private video. And if you don't show up to your reading, then you don't show up to your reading. There's nothing I can do. So please understand the whole cancellation and refund policy, because I don't want anyone to be disappointed or upset, but, I can't go back to doing readings 7 days a week anymore. I can't. It's Wednesdays. That's it. And in the future, I'm not looking to add any more dates to that. Okay. So just keep that in mind. If you sign up for a reading, that is your date and time, and you need to show up. And you also need to make sure that you're receiving my emails. Some people have these incredible firewalls, I have found out. And even to the point where some of them can even block it out from the spam and the junk even. Especially if you have one of those custom made firewalls like some people have. So just keep that in mind. And so we have a lot to talk about today. One is Ketanji Brown Jackson, okay? So the Senate hearings for her begin in a couple of weeks, in 3 weeks. So we're going to look at her. I also want to, first of all, send out my condolences to all those Australians that are affected by the flooding. It really affected Queensland and New South Wales, and it's heading towards Sydney. I read one story where they're calling it a rain bomb. These people are just underwater, and there's already been 10 deaths. So I want to take a look at that situation, because I know I do have Australian viewers, and let's face it, we are all one. As you know, I teach the law of one. We are connected. And so, we need to send our positive vibes, our love, and our thoughts and good wishes towards those people too. I want to take a look at the State of the Union address last night. Did it do anything to unite both sides? Did we make some headway with that? I want to look at, because some of you had asked this, but I had answered like so many questions. And I'm sorry for the quality of that live. I was coming out of a snowstorm, and yeah, everything's back to normal now, but it's tough sometimes. You plan these lives and the weather does what it wants to do. And so I want to look at whether Ukraine is going to be part of NATO in the future, because I saw a lot of you had asked me that and I neglected to answer it, but But if you do watch that last video, it does get better as it goes on. I'm sorry. The UN just voted to demand Russia end the war. And so I thought we would take a look at that. Does that make a difference? Is that going to have any impact whatsoever? And then I did want to look at the refugee crisis, with the Ukrainian people. Almost 1 million now. It's like almost 900,000 have evacuated. So I thought we would take a look at that. So let's get dug into all this. So Ketanji Brown Jackson, Biden has nominated her for the Supreme Court, and she has quite a great resume. I know she's on the younger side, which means she's going to be there a long time. But at the same time, her background seems really solid, and she doesn't seem to me like she's going to be a very controversial person. The most controversial thing I could find out about her was several of her verdicts have been overturned. That was really it. But she has been a federal judge on the U.S. Court of Appeals in D.C. Not for long, but still. She went to Harvard Law School. She's been married since '96. She has 2 children. She was, she's been a clerk. She's had 3 clerkships, but one of her clerkships was for a U.S. Supreme Court Associate Justice, Stephen Breyer. And she's also served as chairs on too many committees for me to list. So let's take a look at her becoming the next Supreme Court Justice. I feel good about it. I do. I don't feel like she is someone that they're going to be able to drag anything up. She seems like a solid choice. And I think it's also important to make the Supreme Court look more like our country. I mean, let's face it, the Supreme Court doesn't even look like my small town. So I think it's important that we have this diversity, that we have people of different races and colors and genders, and, everybody needs a seat at the table. And so I think this is really important. But I think she is a great candidate, and I feel very strongly about her getting passed through. Oh, that's too funny. Okay, so the first card I get is the Magician card. So this is a card of like new beginnings and taking control of one's destiny to manifest what they wish, into reality. And so I'm going to say she is someone who doesn't just let life pass her by. She is someone that actually makes plans and follows them through. The obstacle is not shocking. Here's money changing hands. So there's going to be those who are opposed to her. I mean, are you shocked? No. It is what it is. But look at what I get. So for her outcome, she does get like a judicial card, right? She gets the Hierophant. He can stand for government. He stands for structure, that sort of thing. So that is great. And then the Sun, it's a card of new beginnings, enlightenment. The white horse is for purity. So yeah, I think it's great. Oh, interesting. And then we get the Empress card again. She is indeed a mother. And, this is also one of my cards for the U.S. I know people oftentimes will say that this is for Russia. And I think at one point maybe, but for me, it's not. Like, this has always been more for the U.S. So that to me is a very positive sign when you put that together with, new beginnings and having this wonderful judicial type card, governmental card. So I feel really good about it. I think good things are in store for her. So let's take a look at all these poor Australians. Thousands have been evacuated. They literally have military, it looks like Katrina again all over. They have the military helicopters picking people up that are stranded on their rooftops. At least 10 have perished, but I sort of feel like they're underestimating a bit, unfortunately. I feel like that it is a bit more. Whenever I read, that article calling it a rain bomb, and I was like, oh my gosh. I dropped a few cards because I know people are always like, oh, if you dropped a card, make sure you read it. Only if it's one. If I drop a bunch, that's just my lousy shuffling. also too, sometimes, you know, the cards will get jumpy when there's a lot of energy with something. And so this is, I mean, this is a tragedy. We're reading on something that's terrible. So yeah, there's a lot of energy. There's been loss of life. And there is no way those cars are ever going to be started again, I don't think. I mean, the cars that I saw, I mean, they're just half underwater. And the houses, and I mean, my gosh, the loss of property is just going to be amazing, I think. Okay. Okay, so you know what? This is nice. It's like they have an angel overseeing the situation. There's only 3 cards with angels. And so the card of temperance, balance, harmony will be restored. Balance will be restored. Peacefulness. So there will be like this calming energy that comes in after the storm. The problem is, though, I think this is going to shake a lot of people up. They're going to have lost their faith and trust in the universe, you know, because the fool, he stands on the cliff. He's all set to take that leap, but this is going to shake them up, and they're going to. So this makes me wonder if there's going to be some mental health crises, you know, if people may not get all the relief that they need, that sort of thing, or just the simple fact that they may have PTSD because they survived such a tragedy. You know, it can't be easy to survive something like that. The Chariot. So they're going to move forward. They're going to rebuild. You know, there's only 2 cards that talk about taking control. And so this is one of them. The other is the Magician. And so this is sort of like taking the bull by the horns and getting things done, moving forward. So they're going to move forward. They're going to rebuild, and things will be as good as they were in the past. You know, this is the card that talks about the past, how things were done in the past, how things were in the past. And there's also even buildings in this card. But also, too, there's children, and this is the only card that only has children. And so whatever affected the children, this makes me feel like, okay, it's going to be good. It's going to be okay. And then look at this. Oh, aces. You know, all aces are about new beginnings, and this is an Ace of Wands. So it's a fertile new beginning. When you look at that stick, it's not dead. It's growing green leaves. So good things will come out of this, but they have a bit to go through first, don't they? I mean, you know, as an American, you know, we've certainly seen so much in these terms happen through the years, and what it takes to rebuild and all of that, you know. So I thought we would take a look next at the State of the Union. You know, I think one of Biden's goals in, you know, the way the speech was written and how he delivered it and all of that was to try to reunite both sides, the Democrats and the Republicans. So did he make any headway with uniting us? Because we are the United States of America, aren't we? So let's see if it had any impact, if there's any more feelings of goodwill towards the 2 sides, if anything was accomplished. Oh, and at the end of the video, I have 3 Archangel cards that are all 3s. So if you want like a little focus for tomorrow, you know, as you're doing your intentions and meditations tomorrow, pick one of the cards at the end of the video, okay? Okay, so what do we need to know about the impact of the State of the Union? You know, this is the only card that has 3 generations of a family, and they're all joined together. So that makes me feel a little bit hopeful. I know it can stand for, you know, big money, corporation money, big government, things like that, because you don't get more golden coins on a card than this card, right? But this also is a group of people gathered together, and they are united. Interesting that we get this card as an obstacle. Okay, so there are those who want things to be how they used to be. They want to dwell in the past. You know, it's nice to visit the past, but you don't want to live there. You know, you have to move on. And so there's going to be those who are dwelling in the past and not looking to progress into a new future. Okay, you know, a lot of people are going to be thinking about things. So maybe it did do something, and also too, this character is holding the globe in his hands. And how is America looking on the world stage? These are questions that need to be answered. And so, and also too, like figuring things out, planning, coming up with strategies, thinking about things, because clearly this character is thinking about, well, what do I do next? Where do I go next? And so this was at least thought-provoking. That's what I get out of that. And here's another card that talks about something being thought-provoking, right? Because the Queen of Swords, she is all about being intellectual, analytical, but also fair and balanced. That sword is double-edged, meaning that it's fair and balanced. She's moral and ethical. So this reading actually gives me a bit of hope. And then look, a third card that talks about thinking. So this character is, coming up with a strategy. He's assessing things. He's planning. He's trying to figure things out. So you know what? I'll take it. I don't know about you, but I will take it that at least they're thinking about being on the same page, that people are thinking about uniting and coming together and, laying down some of these old beliefs. And even though we did get that as the obstacle, there's going to be those that do. But the fact that we got that many cards about thinking is actually kind of nice, I think, because maybe this is the first time in a long time they've actually thought like that. So I will take it for now. Okay. The next thing I want to read on. So the UN just voted to demand Russia end the war. Let's see if I had any impact. We know what Vlad is doing, but let's see. Let's see if it did anything, if it's going to be meaningful or... I really feel like the cards need a good shuffle for this one. Oh, and I will be on Hogarth's channel this Saturday, 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific, with Lady G also. And if you didn't see the one from last Saturday, it's on his channel. You can watch it. It also had Milo. It was the 4 of us. It was great. Okay, so... Okay, so I don't think this is going to have the effect that we wanted. I was hoping for different cards. Okay, so it's funny how much the Empress keeps popping up. Okay, so like I said, this is my card from the US. Okay, so yeah, I mean, we are an important part of all of this, so okay. But the obstacle has to do with money. Here's the King of Pentacles, the King of Golden Coins. And so, even though I know for the most part, Russia is pretty alone in all of this, they don't exist in a vacuum either. Granted, too, now their money is being terribly, terribly affected. Oh my goodness. I mean, their stock market is closed for at least this week. The ruble is worth 30% less. I mean, they're losing all sorts of contracts and access to banks. And so, but yeah. The card of perseverance, the card of, just keep putting one foot in front of the other, keep going. But then there's sort of like a stalemate where nothing happens, the Hanged Man. So it's sort of like, okay, well, not much really is going on. And then we're getting a Tower moment. And when I was asking, okay, well, what's the next card? I mean, what's the Tower moment about, have anything to do with? I really do think that this is not, and I'm going to use his first name because I'm starting to notice a pattern with this platform. So I'm just going to call him Vlad for obvious reasons. If there isn't a Julius Caesar moment where they take him out to the rotunda, he is really going to be put through the works legally. So I am hoping that, you know, and it could be war crimes. Part of it could be war crimes, which would be terrible because that would mean loss of civilian life, you know, for the Ukrainian people. But I'm going to say it's not going to have the impact that we all want, right? Because at the end of the day, you know, when I look at these people, I can certainly see myself and my family and my friends in them, and my cat even, you know. So let's take a look if NATO is going to include Ukraine in the future. I know a lot of you had asked me that, and I didn't read on it in the last video, so I thought I would do it in this one, okay? So let's take a peek at that. I think in the future, yes, I do. I'm not sure if I was always feeling that way, but I think we're sort of at a different point in history now. Particularly where I think Russia is going to be so significantly weakened. It won't be so difficult to make them part of NATO. Because honestly, I don't see Vlad being part of Russia's future. I just don't. I don't see him there. Okay, so right now, the Ukraine, here's the strength card. Their strength, their courage, and their patience are all being tested. So this is also a very slow moving card because it does talk about patience. You know, the way that this character is holding the lion, she's doing it gently, patiently. You know, she's not doing it with brute force. And so that tells me that, okay, there's going to have to be patience on their part. There's going to be a lot of different ideologies. So lots of people saying yes, lots of people saying no, people saying I don't know, maybe under these circumstances, but not these circumstances. Because the reason why these characters are wearing 5 different colored tunics is because they have 5 different mindsets and they can't agree. Their values and their beliefs are all different. However, we get the Emperor, which is great. You know, he's a 4, nice and stable, strong foundation, very sturdy and reliable. Also can be a very official card, a governmental card. And when I asked, okay, well, what do we need to know about him coming in? We get the card of, joy and celebration. The card of gathering with friends and having good times. And so when you're asking, okay, well, are they going to get together? Are they going to, you know, be a part of NATO? And you get a card of joining and a very official governmental type card. That makes me feel like, yes, yes. But at the same time, it's not going to happen today or tomorrow. That's what I'm getting from that because it's such a slow moving card. Okay, so next I want to look at the refugee crisis. Almost 900,000 Ukrainians have fled. And of course, too, you know, I did look up how many, because I mean, to me, it looks so small. Like how many people does that really equate to? And it's actually a very small amount of the population. There's 43 million Ukrainians, and there's only a little less than 900,000 that fled. So let's take a look. You know, are more going to be fleeing? Are the ones that are fleeing going to be okay? Like what's going on with that situation? What do we need to know? I mean, I really feel like there's going to be more, a lot more. And, you know, that's something that the U.S. is helping with, right? I mean, we have our soldiers stationed right outside on the borders, helping, assisting. We've even gotten rid of the red tape for the pets, because we know people don't want to leave their pets behind, right? We have found that out as Americans when it comes to forced evacuations. People don't want to leave their pets. And so even that red tape has been done away with. Okay. So they're going to go through a rebirth and a renewal. This is the Judgment card. So they're in for some major changes. Things are really getting, shaken up over there. But, here's where they get an angel again. So, it's really nice, that the Australians got an angel when we read on them, and the Ukrainians just got an angel. And so it's sort of like they're all being watched over. The obstacle is partially, this is a card of new beginnings, right? The sun, but also to enlightenment. Maybe not everybody really understands what's going on, what these people need, what needs to be done. And yeah, these people are going to have their challenges with starting a new beginning, because they're going to be in a brand new country. They may not even speak the language. They're leaving behind their homes and everything that they own. So it's going to be a challenge. But they're fighters. But this also implies that they may not, in all cases, get all the support that they need, because this character is fighting all by himself. And so that means that, as a world, we need to step up. So they're not doing it by themselves. There is a bit of lag. So, maybe they won't get into the housing and into jobs and all that sort of thing as quickly as one would want. But look at the, you can't ask for better cards than this. So they go through this really difficult period, and then they start moving forward with their lives. They get control back over their lives. And yes, one phase has ended, but a whole new cycle is beginning for them. And so, the World card is wonderful. It's like, okay, a door shut, but another door has opened, and it's going to lead to good things. And so I think they're going to go through a difficult period, because they're displaced, but things will get better for them down the road. So let's do the 3-card selection here. They're all 3s in honor of 3/3 tomorrow. And just ask your higher self, ask your spirit guides, ask the angels, what do I need to know for March 3rd? What would help me with that 3/3 energy? And just take a deep breath. And you want to just use your intuition, your gut instinct. Which card are you drawn to? 1, 2, or 3? Okay, here we go. Card 1, 3 of Archangel Ariel. And it says, do what you love. A time of great personal growth in your career or artistic endeavors. Working with others in a cooperative manner. Right. So life shouldn't be about drudgery, right? It shouldn't just be about waking up every day and just putting one foot in front of the other. No, do what you love. And that's how you grow. Even if you don't consider yourself to be an artist, sometimes just doing art for art's sake opens up like your energy. It gets the juices flowing, and it makes you fall back in love with life. Card 2, 3 of Archangel Gabriel. And it says, prosperity arising from wise planning. And remember how we talked about like the Empress, about planting those seeds that you're going to sow later? Time to take the next step. Right. So often I get in readings that people procrastinate. They become stagnant. Optimistic plans that turn out as expected. Really nice card. And finally, 3 of Archangel Raphael. And it says, reasons to celebrate. A community of friends. Happy announcements regarding relationships or children. So, that's 3 of Cups. So that's the card of like celebrating joy, having good times with friends, being able to gather again and see people and, have fun. So no real downside to that card, right? All right, everyone, it was a pleasure making this video. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I will see you in a few more days. Please make sure that you like this video, put some comments underneath, and subscribe and share. Bye. Bye, everyone.